Picture this. A man in a cheap uniform shows up at our ranch gate, screaming about HOA violations we don't even have. My wife calmly asks for his ID, and instead, he pulls out a gun. But here's what he didn't know. My wife isn't just any homeowner. She's a county sheriff. And what happened next? Let's just say this fake HOA cop picked the wrong driveway. You won't believe this, because even I didn't at first. My wife was standing at the front gate of our property when a man in a cheap security uniform suddenly jumped out his truck, yelling about HOA violations. And then, this is the crazy part, he pulled a gun on her. Now, here's the twist that turned this whole situation upside down. My wife isn't just some helpless homeowner. She's the county sheriff. And this fake HOA cop had no idea who he was dealing with. It all started one afternoon when I was fixing the fence by the driveway, and my wife was out front checking the mail. A white pickup truck with magnetic HOA security stickers slapped on the side rolled up. Out comes this guy. Late 40s, cheap sunglasses. The kind of dude who thinks wearing a badge from Amazon makes him the law. He stomps up to the gate, demanding to speak to the homeowner about property code violations. My wife, calm as ever, asked politely for his name and official ID. That's when he started barking about HOA authority and how we were breaking community regulations, which was already suspicious, because we live on a ranch outside the city limits. We don't even have an HOA. I could tell he was trying to intimidate us, but he had no clue he was barking up the wrong tree. Instead of answering my wife's questions, the guy got more aggressive. He pointed at our fencing, at the truck parked by the barn, even at the mailbox, claiming we'd get fined if we didn't comply. My wife stood her ground, cool as ice, and repeated, "Sir, I need to see your ID." That's when he snapped. He reached into his belt and pulled out a handgun, waving it around like he was in some Wild West showdown. My heart jumped into my throat, but here's the thing. My wife didn't even flinch. She put one hand on her hip, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "Sir, you just made a big mistake." The guy laughed, clearly thinking he was scaring us. What he didn't know was that the badge on my wife's belt was 100% real. In one smooth motion, my wife pulled back her jacket, revealing her service badge and her duty weapon. She locked eyes with him and said, in the firmest voice I've ever heard, "You are pointing a firearm at the county sheriff. Drop it. Now." The man froze. His tough guy act vanished instantly. His gun hand started to shake, and his face went pale. He stammered, "W8, this is just a misunderstanding." But my wife wasn't playing games. She ordered him to put the gun on the ground, step back, and keep his hands where she could see them. Within seconds, she had him cuffed, sitting on the gravel like a kid who just got caught stealing candy. Turns out this HOA cop was nothing but a wannabe vigilante who had been harassing people in the area, pretending to be official. He thought he could scare folks into following his fake rules. Unfortunately for him, the day he picked our driveway was the day he tried to strong-arm the sheriff herself. The real deputies arrived not long after, and the look on their faces when they saw who my wife had cuffed was priceless. They ran his info and found out he had a history of impersonating officers and even a few prior charges for trespassing. Needless to say, he was arrested on the spot, illegal possession of a firearm, impersonating law enforcement, and brandishing a weapon. He's facing some serious time behind bars now. As for us, well, the story spread like wildfire. Neighbors couldn't stop laughing about how the guy who tried to play cop ended up getting busted by the actual sheriff. Even the deputies joked that he picked the worst possible house to mess with. Now, whenever my wife and I tell this story, we can't help but laugh. That wannabe thought he was going to scare us, but instead, he got a front row lesson in what happens when you pull a gun on the wrong person. And the best part? My wife handled the whole thing with the same calm, steady nerve she brings her job every single day. She's living proof that real authority doesn't come from a cheap badge or a fake title. It comes from the law, and from knowing you don't have to bluff when you're the real deal. And that's how one fake HOA cop went from waving a gun to sitting in handcuffs in our driveway. He thought he could scare us, but instead, he got arrested by the very sheriff he threatened. Sometimes the truth really is stranger than fiction. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, subscribe for more wild real-life tales, and tell me in the comments, what would you have done if a fake cop showed up at your door? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.